Tales from the Crypt, which aired from 1989 to 1996, is one of the most influential horror anthology series ever produced. Based on the classic EC comics of the 1950s, the show combined dark humor, graphic horror, shocking twist endings, and the unforgettable Crypt Keeper into a unique viewing experience that helped define horror television for a generation. Featuring stories of greed, revenge, supernatural terror, and poetic justice, Tales from the Crypt balanced scares with satire while attracting an impressive roster of actors, writers, and directors. Decades later, the series remains a beloved horror classic whose influence can still be seen throughout modern anthology horror.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of So You Like Horror? Yeah, there we go. So I want to apologize. I'm not sure what you all heard on the Demon Night episode and what the sound quality was. I was messing with the equipment here, and I don't know. And then I was too frazzled to like try to fix it during, and then last second I could have re-recorded, but I was like, let's just put it out there because you know what? No one is perfect, and I like to show that, I might appear perfect, but I'm not. So, anyhow, thanks for dealing with my perfections. This episode, we're actually going to continue on from last week's theme or last episode's theme of Demon Night, being a Tales from the Crypt feature film. We're actually going to just jump right into the Tales from the Crypt series as a whole. And my guest for this episode, returning back from the Midnight Mass episode last go around, what was that, like March, maybe? I think something like that. I want to welcome back Mr. Scott.
How we doing?
Or as I like to call him, Up North Scott. What's up, son?
How we doing? I'm happy to be back. Good. Nice to not talk about a religious, heavy religious episode for a change. Don't want people thinking I'm typecast around here.
I was trying. I was like, "Hey, how can we make this that?" Hey, we still got Emily Rose later this year.
We do.
Out of the woods,
so. But I'm not going to be bashing religion in that one. Spoiler alert.
True. You know me though. I'll find a way.
Oh sure, but I'm not going to get after that priest.
Like I'll make it happen. But yeah, I'll be defending him. But I'm also like, and another fucking thing. Anyhow, but that's not where we are. We're here on Tales from the Crypt, and since this is a anthology type show, much like we did with Are You Afraid of the Dark and Scooby-Doo, and I think there was one other, and I just can't think right now. But this is kind of gonna be all over the place, so not necessarily like all over the place, but it's like we're gonna talk about the series as a whole. And I got some notes here. Because the internet's, Wikipedia's, AI and shit like that. So we got notes here. So I'm gonna go ahead and, unlike my wife, I'm not just gonna straight read like from the notes. I'm gonna actually kind of just use the notes. But we're gonna talk about the series a little bit. So basically, Tales from the Crypt was an HBO series. So a lot of us, like, I know I didn't have HBO as a kid.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So, like it didn't even occur to me. We were just talking about this before we went live. It was like I didn't watch it like from Jump Street. Like I actually didn't watch it until after Demon Night. Actually, like I was aware, I just never watched it until after. So, yeah, like I didn't have HBO, but the kid across the street from me had HBO. He always talked about it, so I pretend like I watched it too. Like I didn't know what the fuck it was. I didn't even know what the Crypt Keeper was. So I was just like, yeah, I watched it. I didn't watch it, but yeah, the series premiered on HBO, and it ran from 89 to 96, which I didn't even know it ran that long. I knew it was like 89, but I thought it was like 93, something like that. But it ran longer than I thought. But it lasted 7 seasons, and it had 93 episodes. So that's just shy of syndication, I guess. But because I think you need 100 for that. But still, 93 episodes is a pretty good run, I think, especially for a series like this on a premium network. So, but it was based on the old EC Comics horror line back from the 1950s, and like it became known for its violence and the dark comedy and the adult content and the icon of it all, the Crypt Keeper, which, you know, if you don't know anything, at least people know the Crypt Keeper, I would imagine, right?
You got to at least know the laugh, right?
Yeah, at least the laugh. So I have on the soundboard the Crypt Keeper laugh, but I can't. I'm not tech savvy enough to have that all hooked up while we're doing this remote, Scott. I'm sorry. Like
That's
I
fair.
tried.
That's fair. If you're gonna hit a button, just tell me to pause and we'll hear it on playback.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, because I've done this before where like, oh, I don't have the sound effects here, but like I'll do an edit and I'll sit there and play the music under those parts. When we did like the music episode, I went back and like put all the music in after the fact, and it was a very lengthy process. But either way, yeah, everybody knows the Crypt Keeper, and a big thing with the airing on HBO, like they weren't restricted. Like they were able to show, like, what's that?
I said no, definitely not. Showed a lot more than I remember.
Yeah, well, like the few episodes I watched, other than the gore, it wasn't really too bad, like language wise or like nudity wise for the most part. Then there was one point, was it I think it was the television terror, or either television terror or the ventriloquist episode, one of those, like whatever they said, I was like, holy shit, like I'm on a treadmill. I was like, oh, that caught me off guard. Like, was I not paying attention to cuss words earlier? I don't know. But
I mean, I think they did a really good job, and we'll get into it more when we get into the episodes, but they did a good job of putting the profanity in there where it felt natural and it made it feel more real.
Yeah. That is something I noticed with more modern stuff, is profanity is just everywhere, as if like, hey, we can do it, so we should. Whereas like back then, and it could be because of the times, it's like, you know, back like in the late 80s, early 90s, it was still very much like, hey, you don't want to say too many bad words because, you know, we might get kind of looked at a certain way, or they might try to rate us a certain way, and you know, we don't get seen. So it could be really being selective about that as well. Just like, hey, use it, you know, appropriately, you know. So if they say like, oh fuck, like that should be there, but don't just like throw 5 extra fucks in there along with oh fuck, because the Sopranos would have.
True, but that just might have also felt natural for those guys too.
True. Yeah. That now that I think about a few scenes, like actually, I remember like Tony letting off a string. It was like, Jesus Christ, he didn't miss one. But anyhow, but that was the whole thing with HBO. It being on HBO, they could get away with the profanity. They could get away with the nudity. They didn't have the restrictions like the same way that network television had. So this just allowed them to push the envelope, you know, a lot further. So like good old HBO. It's funny that HBO actually turned down The Walking Dead. They said it was too violent. And
yeah, which is crazy compared to some of the stuff that they've done.
Yeah. So it's like, you turned on The Walking Dead, but okay, all right, whatever. But like Scott, for you, like watching this, what was like your, because like as you mentioned, you're like, hey, I might have saw this way sooner than I should have seen it. Oh, yeah. But what was like some of your earliest memories, or first memories really, with watching Tales from the Crypt?
So it was, I mean, similar to you, we didn't have HBO at my house. We didn't have cable at my house for a good chunk of, well, all of the run of its original airing. But I had a friend, they had all the channels, they had HBO, and he, without his parents knowing, set up the recording. And so we're watching tapes at like sleepovers behind his parents' back. I think I was 9, 10. I mean, I was 6 when it first started airing, but I think I was 9 or 10 when I first started watching the episodes. A lot of the stuff that stuck in my head from it was the violent parts and the story beats. There's one episode, it's the episode that I mentioned to you that we'll talk about later, that I don't remember any of the nudity that was in it, and there was some. I was like, well, that's what not. Like, going back and watching it now, because I haven't seen it in years, I was like, I don't remember apparently 50% of this episode. But
yeah.
But I also don't remember ever being like, yeah, it's horror, and I understood that it was horror, but I was never scared of it either. It for how serious and how sometimes profane and sometimes gory it could be, it was never like, oh man, I'm terrified after watching this as a little kid. Maybe that's because some of the themes went over my head at the time, but
that's how The Exorcist was for me. I was not scared of The Exorcist as a kid, but when I became an adult and I understood, I was like, oh.
Yeah, that theatrical re-release when I was 17, I was like, holy cow, this is terrifying.
Oh yeah, I wasn't okay. I was like, I drove home uneasy. I couldn't sleep that night. Oh, and then I found a book, The Exorcist, in our basement. Like, grandma says like they didn't ever own that book. I was like, oh, thanks. I did read it, and let me tell you, it's actually more terrifying than the movie. So
I don't doubt it. American Psycho's the same way if you haven't read that one.
Oh yeah, that is on the list. Or it's on the list. All right, sorry about that. We derailed already, dog. We're not even. We're just over 10 minutes in. All right, we're gonna do better, y'all. I promise you. So with this show, though, do you think it worked because of the stories, or because of the overall vibe of it, like kind of how they set the stage with the Crypt Keeper coming in? Like, what made it work for, like, in your mind?
I think the way the formula of the show is what led to its longevity, being a self-contained story in each episode, not having to see what happened last week in order to jump in this week. You missed an episode, there wasn't DVR, there wasn't streaming at that point. So if it wasn't like you missed an episode, you're lost, right? So that leads to, in my mind, how it was able to run for that long, partially. And another part of it is, like, I mean, the Crypt Keeper is just a lovable dude, and he takes the edge off, even though he's ridiculous. Like, he just takes the edge off enough that it's not like, oh, I don't know if I can do another one of these, even if it's a very serious themed episode or a heavy episode or an overly gory episode.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, you mentioned the show not really feeling scary. And I always think about this with all of horror, as I mentioned all the time. It's like, I don't know that a lot of it is scary, but I think a lot of it, kind of it's entertaining for sure. So, when you look at something like Tales from the Crypt, the things that, I looked at over the last few days was like, like, because we let our kid watch horror, not like, their guardrails, obviously.
Sure.
And as I'm looking through, I'm like, I wonder if, I can get away with this one, because they had the cartoon.
Yeah, and that was another thing I was going to mention. I 100% remember watching Tales from the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah.
I think I had a couple of the toys, growing up. Like that. Yeah. That's how it can't like it's that's how iconic it is that you made it into a kid show.
Yeah. Well, I think, and I don't know if this gets talked about enough with horror, because the 80s was such a wild time that it bled into the 90s, where horror icons were like so out there that, like, kids were into them. Like, again, we had Freddy Krueger on a lunchbox. Mind you, he's a child molester. Crypt Keeper, cartoons, Chucky. Fuck, I mean, that's just, my buddy and kid sister. So horror was like in everyone's face in the late 80s, early 90s, so much so that it just became such a natural thing. So, no, no, and this just rolls with it so much more fluidly. Like you said, the Crypt Keeper is kind of he's a lovable character. He's funny. He's charismatic. So, that's why I was thinking like maybe I can get away with showing my kid this, but then looking at some of the episodes, like,
yeah, you would have to 100% cherry pick.
Yeah,
what you showed her for sure.
I think also like just as I kind of go through the themes are kind of over her head. I don't think she would be terribly interested in most of the stuff. Like the only one that would kind of somewhat stand out would be All Through the House, the Christmas episode. And even with that's kind of fucking scarring for a 10-year-old.
And I think she'll miss some of the the beginning the themes in the beginning of that episode too, with the gold digging and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably just pull, I would assume these are on YouTube, just a compilation of all the Crypt Keepers one-liners and jokes, and that would probably be more entertaining for her than actually watching the episodes.
That is true. Yeah, I keep forgetting YouTube is a thing as much as we're on YouTube. I always forget that YouTube has these options to like, look for the greatest laughs from the Crypt Keeper, and we got it. So I want to also talk a little bit, as I mentioned, that Tales from the Crypt, the series originated from a comic book. So I want to talk about that a little bit because, like comic books, I've been reading a bunch of comic books lately, specifically like indie books, Boom Studios, stuff like that, ID Studios. Not so much Flights and Tights because they try to lure you in with a bunch of, like, hey, you got to read this crossover for the summer. Like, I don't want to.
That's what had me fall out of comic books in the later 90s. Was like, I got to get 15 different Spider-Man series. Amazing Spider-Man 3 flows into Spectacular Spider-Man 147, flows into Venom Lethal Protector 15, and I'm just like, I can't keep track of this.
Yeah, I was going to the newsstand up the street to buy the books. So if they didn't stock it or you missed it, it was that was a wrap. Like, that aftermarket was brutal as a kid because you go up to Comics to Astonish around the corner eventually, and it's like, oh, I miss Executioner Song, part 4. Oh, they have it, but it's $8 now, and it was originally $1, and I'm 14.
Right.
My allowance only goes so far.
Yeah, I mean, I got lucky. I had Fun for All comics, cards and comics up here where
nice.
You could put a, they would have a list for you with your name, and when the comics came in, they'd pull it as long as you went in there once a month and picked up your box. They'd pull all the comics you had on your list for you. So I didn't miss a Spawn after like Spawn 30, because I had that set.
Yeah, I never set up a pull box then. I have one now, and even now it's a bunch of mini series because it's all indie titles and this shit's done.
Those are getting really good though. The Gargoyles, the Thundercats that have come out recently are really well done. I haven't gotten the Silverhawks yet, unfortunately.
Ooh, I need Mask just dropped today.
Did it? I may have to get into that too. Sorry for nerding out again, folks.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, damn. Like not even 20 minutes. We didn't derail twice. All right. Sorry. All right. So anyhow, getting back to this, how it stems from the original comic book, because before we got that TV show, like this was before our time.
Oh yeah.
But it started with EC Comics, and those original comics, they were a part of a wave of horror and crime and mystery comics. Like I remember having an old book, The Witching Hour, just randomly in my collection as a kid, but it kind of in that series of books, stuff like that. So a lot of these books were known for like twisted endings, gruesome imagery, stuff like that. So that's really where you see a lot of this in the show.
Yeah.
So It carries over pretty smoothly. So
Mhm.
what helped the HBO version stand out was really, besides coming from the comics and really kind of staying true to it for the most part. Um, they had like big names like Richard Donner, Joel Silver, Robert Zemeckis. They had like producers who were like known in the business as well.
Mhm.
And then also watching the show, you got to see a lot of stars, like celebrities. Like as I'm watching, I was like, I know these people, for that era. I don't
Yeah.
know their names right now,
Yeah.
but I
It's
know
a
that.
I mean, I specifically remember going back, starting to watch for this one, prepping for the show, finding, oh, it's on Shutter. Sweet. I guess I'm
Yeah,
finally gonna pull the trigger on signing up for Shutter. Don't come at me for not being a real horror fan for not having Shutter.
we were about to cancel Shutter.
Oh, really?
Like we watched everything on it, and yeah, sure, there's repeat value, but AMC Plus had it, and like because I think AMC owns Shutter now,
Yeah, I
so a
got the little
lot of
pop up that was like, you can throw on AMC for $3, and I'm probably gonna have to do that because I do want to watch From.
yeah. What was it like? I think we just did a deal with it. It was like I can't. It's like $30 for the year, maybe.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
So or like for 12 months. So we're like,
Yeah.
fuck it, just do it. I think Sarah wants to watch Interview with the Vampire and Vampire Lestat. So
Okay.
it was like, and that's why we were about to cancel Shutter, because it was like, oh well, all that shit's here. But then I paid closer attention, and not everything is. There's still a lot of Shutter exclusives that don't translate over to AMC.
Right.
So
I will say that did drive me nuts. Every time having to sit through a Vampire Lestat trailer before every episode, even
mhm.
if I'm watching them back to back, I gotta watch another trailer, and it's
Yeah.
the same trailer. I'm like, okay, come on, AMC, get it together. I paid for the no ads. What are we doing?
Like you had me with one trailer. I was like, okay, I'll watch it. I
Yeah.
read the book.
Now
I'm a
I'm
fan.
not gonna watch it out of spite.
Sarah's like, oh, are we gonna watch that next? I was like, fuck no, you can watch it. Like we just got Apple TV Plus on, like, because I got another computer, so it's like, here's 3 months. So
Yeah.
now I'm watching Cape Fear. I was like, you go watch Vampire Lestat. I'm watching Cape Fear. Fuck off. All right, sorry. Third one. Fuck.
It's semi-related. Also my
Yeah.
fault. But so like I was watching, I think it's the second episode, maybe it's the third episode. I can't remember. I was like, holy crap, that's Marty's mom from Back to the Future.
Yeah. Leah Thompson.
Yeah. And I'm just like, so I'm watching it. I'm like, all these names from when I was a kid that I remember watching in, quote unquote kid friendly movies and shows are here doing this. Superman's in one. My Superman.
Yeah.
So like Superman from my childhood, that was a fun episode too. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but it's crazy. Even the people I can't put names to, I'm like, I know that guy from a few movies.
Yeah. There are quite a few where it's like, I know the face, I just can't give you the name. Like
Right.
dude from Ralphie from Sopranos, and
Yeah.
was he Cypher in the Matrix? I think
Yes.
maybe.
Yep.
So it's
Cypher,
like,
yeah.
but it took me a minute though. But his voice is undeniable, and
Yeah.
as I'm looking, I was like, oh shit.
Every time I see his face, I'm just like, oh, ignorance is bliss.
Every time I see his face, I think, you fucking killed that horse. Like you
I mean,
fucking
that
monster.
too. That too. I just remember I want to remember the scene from the Matrix where he wants to go back in.
That should be the real memory, but the fucking beautiful creature,
That's also
fucking
true.
Ralphie's a fucking monster, and he killed that hooker or stripper, that young lady, Tina. All right, my bad. We're back. Sorry. But yeah, like having like these big producers attached, and then you're now getting, your celebrity names, your bigger celebrities that you see on, like you said, kid friendly stuff, like Hollywood, like blockbusters and shit. And then it's like, oh, you're on this HBO series, which for the time, if you're watching it during that time, especially, HBO is kind of a blockbuster thing. It's exclusive. You have to have the subscription. So it kind of makes a little bit of sense
Yeah.
seeing them there.
it gave a lot of credibility to the series, I think, to have that name recognition and on a, throughout the series, if it feels like.
Yeah. Like if they had moved this, let's say, I don't even know, because during that time you really only had like the big three, like ABC, CBS, and NBC, and Fox was just starting.
Yeah.
But if they watered this down, Fox would probably be the place it would go, because Fox was taking everyone. They had Werewolf, which no one remembers it, but I reference that movie or that show every 4 years. But like, do you think it would
I know
work?
that one?
See, it was the dude that had like a pentagram in the center of his hand, and every time it bled, he turned into a werewolf. I think it ran for
sounds interesting. I might have to go find it, but yeah, I don't know anything about that.
It's on YouTube. We looked it up. We watched it, and it was like, okay, I know why it was one season.
Maybe I shouldn't go find it. Is that what you're saying?
For funsies, maybe one episode. But like, look, if you get attached, let me know. We'll do an episode. But you're carrying it, because I'm not rewatching that shit. It was good. It was good when I was 10, but as an adult,
okay,
like,
one of those. Got it. Perfect.
Like when I went back and watched Inspector Gadget, I was like, we really were stupid children.
Mm-hmm.
We were the dumb generation.
Yeah.
But do you think this would have worked if they watered it down and tried to put it on network TV, specifically Fox, because we know that's who would have taken it?
Not for 7 seasons. You might have got 2 or 3 out of it, but I don't think it would have. I don't think it would have been successful if you kept it the same but watered it down. I don't think it would be anywhere near as successful. The tone doesn't work. The Crypt Keeper silliness doesn't work without being balanced by the I don't know, depth, I guess, of the actual episode itself.
Yeah. I agree. I think if you move it to like I think season 1, they would have kind of pushed the limit a little bit.
Yeah, the first couple episodes almost could have been network television without, subtract 4 or 5 F-bombs.
Yeah. Well, I think the first episode for sure, you could have gotten away with it. The second one, I think might have been a little gory. They might have had to clean it up just a touch, maybe. But
yeah,
I think I agree. I think they could have done maybe. I think it would have been like Werewolf. They might have gotten 1 season and probably not picked up again, because it was like it's a little gory. But then again, the Crypt Keeper is charismatic, so I think networks would have tried to like jump in and like pull some strings and twist some arms. But
I guess how long was the animated series? How many seasons was that? Do you know? I don't know off the top of my head.
Don't know off top. I want to say 2.
I don't think it was more than 2 or 3. I think that's a good, honestly, barometer of how long it might be able to last, though.
Yeah, let me see if I can find anything here. Just because I feel like I saw 3 seasons, but I want to believe that it was 2, because that seems like a two season type of show.
Yeah. The only reason I say 3 is because they had enough time to put out some toys.
Ooh, that is a good point. 3 seasons. Okay. Exactly 3. So, yeah, unless you're He-Man or Transformers, you need at least 3 seasons to get toys. Usually, like that second season, there's the interest, and by that 3rd season, they're like, okay, we can start pumping them out now. Right. And then you got a whole bunch. It's like, oh, we're not getting the 4th, but we got all these extra toys. But yeah, like I think it could have lasted maybe 1, possibly 2.
Yeah.
I think if it goes to that 2nd season, there's a lot of cleaning up that they're going to end up watering down more, possibly. But HBO was perfect.
Yeah. I also don't know if you get the star power for the network that you can with HBO. I mean, HBO is looked at still a little bit now, but even more so at that time. This is much more polished. This is much more high-end entertainment.
Yeah. Well, back then, being a TV actor also was kind of a, like, they looked down on that. Like
Oh, yeah.
there's very few people who could get away with it. Michael J. Fox being one of the few that could get away with it. Tom Hanks kind of, well, once he left TV, because I think he was only on Bosom Buddies, then he went Hollywood with Big and Joe versus Volcano. But
Mhm.
Michael J. Fox was able to kind of, because he was doing Back to the Future and Family Ties at the same time, and then continue with Family Ties. So he was one of the few like Hollywood dudes from like film that could go back to TV. But most people is like, if you're on TV, like, nah, that sucks. So
Yeah, you're
yeah, I
not doing
think
a whole lot.
if it was on network, they probably wouldn't get the stars. And I think that drove a lot of it on HBO. I mean, seeing known names, but also just their skill, their talent, being able to shine too.
Yeah, I agree.
So shout out to them for taking the risk and not letting it go to Fox, because we know what happens there. That you end up coming on right before Melrose Place, and let me tell you, I was a Melrose Place fan every Wednesday night, 9 o'clock.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I was not, but
Hey man, I had to know, because like once Kimberly took that wig off and revealed that scar, I was like, yo, how she survived? Oh no, she's crazy. Then she blew up the building, and then Allison started like banging Billy, and then Brooke was all upset, and then she fell in the pool and hit her head and drowned. And then Billy felt guilty, and then Allison was like, "Man, fuck that bitch." And then it was like, yeah, it was chaos. It was a soap opera. I loved it. I actually might go back and rewatch it now.
we
I
might need
tried.
hey, it sounds like there might be some horror in Melrose Place. You might need to get an episode on that one.
When they thought Kimberly was dead, and she reappeared, dude, I'm getting goosebumps now. Like, and then Tracy Lords was on there. She was like in a cult, and they recruited the little redhead girl. That Melrose Place was like, actually one of the actors from Melrose Place follows my jiu-jitsu account. Well, he just recently passed away last month, but Patrick Muldoon, he followed my jiu-jitsu account, which I was like, that's cool. I was a fan. Like,
Yeah, that's cool.
Richard was a dick on that show, but he was one of my favorite characters, because it was like, yo, that dude is ruthless. So, all right, this isn't Melrose Place though. I promise
I was just gonna let you go on that one. I had nothing to jump in with.
I promise we will get through this with. We'll get through it.
I was gonna say, don't make promises you're not gonna keep now.
Yeah, that's true, because I assure you we're gonna get derailed again. When I say we, I mean me. So I want to talk about the Crypt Keeper a little bit here, because the Crypt Keeper is one of those things that really gave Tales from the Crypt personality. That I mean, he was the personality of the show. So
yeah,
it was voiced by John Kassir, and like I guess that like all I know him for is this. I'm not familiar. Someone like Phil would probably be like, oh, well, he did like all the voice work for this. Phil, fucking relax.
Yeah, I got nothing for you on that one either. I'm sure he did. He did a great job with the voice acting here for Crypt Keeper.
It's very distinct. Like,
yeah,
you won't confuse that. Well, you can't get anyone else for that, I don't think.
No, and you can't hear that voice and think it's anything else.
Yeah. He was basically, when you come in with the Crypt Keeper, this is, I guess, your host of sorts. He connected the show really to the old school comic book too, because Crypt Keeper was part of the book, so you bring that edge over as well. But the puppet design and the practical effects is what really made it. It's like when you have the opening credits or whatever it is, opening scroll, and then at the end, the Crypt Keeper pops out of the casket. That's if anything I knew from childhood with Tales from the Crypt, that was the thing I knew. So may not know much, but I knew that was always there. And even watching it, like I was thinking about, like, again, if we let Sophie watch it, would that startle her? And
I feel like it did startle me the first time I saw it.
So I think the first time, yeah, but because as I'm looking at it, and I guess because I'm anticipating, so it feels like he's moving in slow motion.
No, yeah, and when I knew it was coming, it's like, all right, but also I remember as a kid like knowing it's coming and being like, all right, here he comes, and being kind of excited about it, and like trying to laugh along with him, especially that little hee hee after they say Tales from the Crypt, you know.
Yeah, I think tomorrow, not tonight, but tomorrow, because tonight I don't need to have anyone having nightmares. I think tomorrow I'm gonna just play the opening and see the reaction. Someone's right now like, I'm calling child services, and I say, I dare you, and try me, son. I think I haven't spoken to child services before as the child, not as the parent. But yeah, depending on how you look at the Crypt Keeper, it can be considered scary if you're a child, corny for those who say nothing scares me, or for those of us who kind of remember it and enjoy it, iconic. So or all three, to be quite honest. And
I feel like he's all three. There's definitely times watching it back where I like he said something and I'm like, that's not even fun. Like, I'm rolling my eyes at you. That went past funny. That was not a good one. Not your best, Crypt Keeper. But
it's like,
you're still like, but okay, I get it. I get it. You're setting me up for the show. Now I know kind of what's going to happen. Cool. But there were also times where he did give the twist away a little bit with his puns.
Yeah. Well, but then I wonder though too, again back then, as you're watching it, and he says something, and it's almost like kind of like an afterthought. He says something, you let it go, and then when you watch it, and then if you play it back, it's like, oh snap,
yeah,
kind of foretold that. So, but yeah, either way, the Crypt Keeper I think is one of those things. It just if you don't have the Crypt Keeper, I don't know that you have the show. I mean, or
definitely not.
Even coming back from the comic, I feel like that had to been a thing. It was like, look, if we're going to do this, we have to like bring this over too. Because if not, what do we have?
Just like it being on HBO, I think you maybe get a season out of it if you don't have the Crypt Keeper, because there's no glue that holds it together, and it's just random shows. You have to have, if you don't have a narrator carrying through across a show like this, or a host carrying through across a show like this, like The Outer Limits had the same narrator.
Yeah.
That carried it through,
Twilight
even though that
Zone
was a more serious tone. The Twilight Zone has the same host, even though that's a more serious tone than Tales from the Crypt. If you don't have that and it's just random episodes, you're not going to hold an audience. There's got to be something that carries over, even if it's not storyline.
Yeah, I think you're looking at a time also too of horror icons. So, we're in '89 at this point. So, you've got Freddy, Jason well into their run. Michael Myers just came back the year before with Michael Myers Returns on Halloween 4. You got Pinhead on the scene now. So it kind of rolls together with having, and now I'm sure the conversations probably had when they were doing this. Like, look, we got to have the Crypt Keeper. We got to have an icon, because this is what connects people to it. You have to have something. You have to have your host, like we mentioned, Outer Limits, Twilight Zone. Even moving forward with Are You Afraid of Dark? You had the Midnight Society. They were the host. So
I think the only show that's been successful that hasn't had something like that is probably Black Mirror.
Yeah. I wonder though if today you did, because the Black Mirror is a good point there, but I wonder if like today we don't need that, and if you had something with a host like this, would it?
So I think it depends. The only thing I'll say for Black Mirror is it seems like the episodes have a common thread or a common theme, season to season, if not overarching, I think that's why that's a little bit successful. Whereas every episode of Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt, Outer Limits is wildly different one to the next.
True. Yeah, like that, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. See, because they did try to bring back the Twilight Zone a couple different times, and it was like they had the host, and it was like, was it Forrest Whitaker and then Jordan Peele? I
Yeah.
think these are like known names. I think it still wasn't. I think it was more a matter of the quality of the product and just what they're trying to do versus the star power or lack thereof or whatever it may be. But with this series, it was just kind of a perfect combination of you had the narrator, you had the pulp type storytelling and the anthology in itself, so it all worked well together. So
Yeah. And honestly, for me, a big part of it is how expressive the Crypt Keeper was. Like the work they were able to do with the puppet or animatronics or however they were doing it. Like, you would think a mostly rotted face couldn't do a lot, but he made facial expressions that fit perfectly with the emotion he was trying to convey with it, with what he was saying. And that makes it, it's a puppet, but he felt more alive than some actors you see sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and that really, if you think about back then, practical effects versus now where they probably use CGI. I don't know. I feel like they would try to like do practical effects if they did it today, but considering when they did it and how they made that work, it's really impressive.
Yeah. I don't know if that skill is around to that level anymore because of the technology that we've got now. Mm-hmm. That being said, if you tried to CGI a Crypt Keeper now, you get booed out of the building.
Oh yeah, like I feel that in horror though too, because like as we've talked about movies in the past, specifically in the 90s where they went CGI crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of that stuff just didn't fly. And then when you see more modern stuff and they use practical effects, it's beloved because it's like, oh, the work was put in. They didn't find a cheap way out. They used like real stuff. So,
and a lot of times it's harder to see through a practical effect than a CGI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So one thing here, as we've mentioned with the show, is the anthology format. Like that's a big part of what made Tales from the Crypt so easy to watch. Like you had mentioned, the episodes are so different across the board. So it's not like you watch one episode, then you go to the next one, and you have a similar thread. Episode 1 goes from one thing to episode 2 goes to Christmas. So it's like all over the place. But each episode told its own complete story. And they're all, this was one thing that I really loved too. It's like they're all about 30 minutes. So like I was able to get on the treadmill, like knock out 4 or 5 episodes. Like I was like, dude, I haven't even been on the treadmill for an hour.
Right.
But I felt like I put in work because I watched 5 episodes. Like, oh shit. Like, look at me burning. That's only 200 calories. 5 episodes.
You're like, oh, that's only 40 minutes. Okay, got it.
Oh, I just realized I had Tales from the Crypt playing in the background, but I guess once episode ended, because it's 30 minutes, the shit just shut off. So now I'm down here all alone. But yeah, you can jump in anywhere in the episode, or not in the episode, but like in the series, and just kind of put it on because it's only 30 minutes. So it's not like you're committing an hour. Like when you look at something like Black Mirror, being like one of those examples there, and I love Black Mirror, but again, sometimes like, hey man, let's wrap this up. And especially when they start doing those like 90-minute episodes, it's like we're Tales from the Crypt, you got 30 and you moved on.
Yeah, you're in and out. There's almost no time for you to get bored and be like and reach for your phone.
Yeah, that's true. Like even I'm on the treadmill, like because that's kind of my go-to. Watch things on the treadmill. I can't get distracted. But even when I was sitting on the couch, I was just kind of glued to it because it was like, whoa, we've only got like we're not even 30 minutes really. Like 26 minutes, maybe like 25. So yeah, you had to kind of be dialed in or you're going to lose your time. But even with the short time, you got a lot of variety You got, one week you might have a crime story, the next week you might have a supernatural horror, revenge, but, a straight up black comedy, anything crazy like that. And with all that variety, the show, it still had a clear identity. Being an anthology series, you feel like, oh, well, it could be all over the place, but they did a good job with like kind of, again, keeping that pulp like style of storytelling as its identity moving forward. So like that, I don't know. I can't say enough good things about it. Having watched it later in life, when it comes to a horror series, how do you feel like do you like the anthology, or are you more into the long form like serial series?
I find it easier to get into the anthologies. I mean, I guess it depends on the story you're telling, because when you look at stuff like American Horror Story, some of those are really well done, and that's a long form episodic. But some of those seasons, don't come for me, in my opinion, are trash. Yep. And I watched a couple episodes and I'm like, I don't think I need to watch the rest of the season. So it really depends on how well you tell the story. It can be successful.
Yeah. I think when you have something like a serial series as well, it like you're committing. So if those first two episodes aren't really good, sometimes like, well, you got to get to the third one. Yeah, but it's hard to get to the first two. Yeah, those first two are so bad that I don't want to go to the third one. Whereas you have the anthology, you can kind of just go in anywhere, especially with Tales from the Crypt, because there's nothing really like with Black Mirror. You eventually find out like a lot of this is all in the same world,
right?
You kind of connect. Whereas this is just like, nah. Like we got a dude who now has 9 lives.
Yeah.
So that just random.
I feel like it was, yes, all very separate, every single episode. But I also got the feeling like, and maybe it's because the Crypt Keeper is telling you all these tales, that they were just all random ass stories from the same universe.
And it could be. And
like I said, maybe it's him pulling like, hey, let me open this book. Here's your comic book cover art before we jump into the story. I loved that. That was always a great touch, in my opinion. So maybe that's what made me feel like that. But it was always just like, none of them were huge stories either.
Yeah.
You never know what's going on with the guy, 7 houses down. It could be a story from there. That's one of the positives for me is how this series felt in most of their episodes.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask you too, is like with the short runtime, does that help with it? Because like I said, for me, it dials me in. I have to watch it. Like I have to pay attention. So
yeah. Well, and they did, I think it's a testament to the writing team that was on it too. They didn't have a whole lot of time to give you backstory, but you always got enough backstory to keep you, that you didn't feel lost. And you weren't like, man, I wish I would have known more about what happened here. You got everything you needed to know.
Well, I think that's what, especially these days, that's kind of a thing. People always want more. Whereas like then they gave us just enough. Like and Sarah and I mentioned this in the Demon Knight episode, where you don't really have a backstory on Breaker, the Collector, or anything. You kind of get some backstory on Breaker to some extent later, but it's not something like, well, I need a whole movie, or I need to follow up. Like nowadays, people want all this extra stuff. So, to have a series like this where each episode is like 25 minutes, it's like I think it's great, but I think a lot of people would be like, oh no, there's no answers. I need more. And it's like, for fuck's sake, dude, like use your imagination.
Enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy the ride. That's all. Just shut up and enjoy the ride.
Yeah. And too many people just can't really do that though. So whatever, they can go fuck themselves. I mean, I guess maybe I shouldn't say that when I got people listening. Probably some of those people listening are probably those people like, I need more. Like, fuck off.
The only one I need more of, and we've talked about this before, is 13 Ghosts.
Yeah.
Give me a, you know what? Perfect. Give me an anthology, 13 25-minute episodes, one episode on each ghost. and we're done. Don't
That's
touch it
all
ever.
we
Don't
need.
touch it again. Leave it be.
Yeah, I would be extremely happy with that, and I think after that, I could be done with 13 Ghosts forever. We don't like
Yep.
don't need another remake. Nothing. Although it being a remake was good because the original came out in 60, the remake came out in like 2001 or 2003 or something. So it was
Sure.
like, okay, the world's different enough where this works. But
Yeah, when I'm 85 years old, go ahead and remake 13 Ghosts again.
yeah, because by that time, I'm sure there'll be some way. I mean, hell, we have 3D glasses, and the ghost will probably really be in the theater with us. So, fuck it, make it happen. AI, do it. AI is probably listening right now, making up bullshit movies. When I asked for some, like, hey, give me some info on Sinners, and they gave me a whole movie that didn't exist, not like even
I
a
believe it.
cast.
I believe it.
So, I still have the notes. I'm going to do an episode on that fake movie one day.
Honestly, you could probably do a whole episode on the real life horror of AI at this point.
Oh yeah.
We don't need to get in the weeds on it, but it has been proven to lie for self-preservation or lie just because.
Yeah. Trust me. Like my buddy uses it a lot, and I'm like, I just
fact checking any of that.
Yeah, it's like you're just gonna go with that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even when I was doing when I used AI to come up with the outline and stuff, I was like, okay, now all this information, let me now go and Google, and check.
It's a great tool. It should be used as a tool.
Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be your end all be all. It is definitely an assistant.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you don't use a hammer for a screw.
Yes,
there are certain points where this is not applicable.
Yeah. So don't be using AI for therapy, you dickheads. I know y'all are.
Some people do, and that's not great.
Yeah, I know. My buddy does. Like, they're just saying what you want to hear, Steve. I just said his name.
But it is just trying to learn the patterns of things that you want to hear, and it's going to regurgitate that to you.
Actually, I'm going to ask AI, like, criticize me. Like, I got to know what you really think about me. So
hey, it may be able to pull all of your go through all of your pod episodes and kick something back to you.
It has. I've asked about myself.
Okay.
And it has gone through like the off the mat stuff, and used some references from. I was like, it's fucking weird, dude.
That's creepy. Right. That's creepy.
We don't need to do this no more. We can stop. So as we talk about the horrors of AI, let's just go ahead and talk about some of the horrors of specific episodes, some of the key episodes here. I Googled like, hey, what are some of like the better known episodes? I did it 3 times, which is why I ended up with like 7 or 8 different. I was like, okay, like these are repeating. So the first one that comes up, or the first one that often came up, was the first episode. Because it's the premiere episode. Obviously, that's kind of what starts us off. It's called The Man Who Was Deaf. And basically in this episode, you have an executioner who loses his job. Like, basically they abolish the death penalty. And they're like, we don't need that shit no more. He started off as, I believe, an electrician, and he was working at the prison. And then they were just like, hey man, you want to come on over here and like pull the switch? Which is wild. Like no interview process, no mental health check. All right. I mean, it was the olden days.
Different times.
I feel like these days they probably do a deeper check on that, but maybe not. I don't know. But basically, once they abolished the death penalty, instead of walking away, he decided that he was Dexter before Dexter.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but that is a good way to put it for sure.
Like when we were watching it, like he's sitting there at one of the trials, and they're like, found not guilty through some bullshit. And the camera kind of spins to him, and that says my wife. I was like, oh, that's Dexter. Like he worked inside the system. Now he's finding the bad guys who got off on some bullshit. But
and I really enjoyed the way he broke the fourth wall in that episode too.
Yeah. So So this is where I think the comic book kind of comes into play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because as he was narrating and talking, think about like in the comic book, like the thought bubbles.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's what I was taking from that. I was like, okay, he's giving us the thought bubbles. Now, granted, this was the first episode. You didn't really see a lot of that moving forward, but
Right.
in that first episode, you got it. And I was like,
But
oh, okay.
it was a good episode to grab people's attention. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Like if this was the first one I saw, I'm like, oh, I want to know what's next. And then the next one, well, we'll get to that one in a second. I got some questions here, Scott. I got questions. I didn't see.
Sorry, I didn't mean to rush you.
Oh no, I was about to just skip right over. Like, fuck that. Let's go to the next one. But yeah, so yeah, basically he starts taking matters into his own hands, and what kind of starts off as a story about punishment and revenge. It becomes a twisted look at power and morality, and as we talk about themes and stuff. I don't think we're going to get too deep into themes, but there are some. But that being, part of it here, and it also shows you what happens when someone believes they have the right to decide who lives and who dies. So, as the first episode, it does kind of set a tone, and it shows what Tales from the Crypt. It's not really about heroes. It's not about good guys.
No.
It's about flawed people, broken systems. And twisted endings, and waiting for those to kind of get theirs. So
yeah,
that was just, that set the pace right there.
Very much so. Definitely showed they weren't going to shy away from really anything.
Yeah. I think especially during that time too, capital punishment was kind of a hot button topic in the news.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, like late 80s into the 90s, that was just something I always heard somewhere on news, just like, death penalty, capital punishment, all this stuff. And it's like, Jesus, like, I don't know what none of those words are, but it sounds serious.
Yeah.
Like, do you like with this kind of opening and setting the tone? Like if you were, let's say, to watch this for the first time, and this is the first one you go into, how you feeling like going into the next? So you're thinking like, okay, I'm curious. Because again, we don't know after watching this first episode. I mean, it kind of ends on a very like, that's it.
Yeah.
So you have to assume there's a new story. But like, is this something now you're like, oh, okay, well, let's see what's going on next. Like, what might they do next week?
Yeah, I mean, again, I haven't watched this in a number of years, but it did that to me now. Watching it again now, I was like, oh yeah, it got me a little more hyped to watch more Tales from the Crypt episodes. Like, we're doing the pod tonight. I'm still gonna go back and watch more Tales from the Crypt partly because of how it kicked off and that excitement, like that I got from watching that first episode was just wow. I forgot how raw and gritty and real this series was. Like, you remember the Crypt Keeper, you remember him being silly. You don't. I guess it doesn't necessarily stick with you how grounded some of these episodes and how much of an unvarnished look at humanity you get in some of these, in most, if not all of these episodes. Well, I won't say all, in most of these episodes, because some of them are a little silly, but those are enjoyable too.
Yeah. Like I think, looking back, especially this episode as an adult specifically, it's like you see something like this and it's like, I don't know, I'm all about like gritty shit like this. I'm like, oh, like we got a vigilante on our hands, and then you kind of get through and it's like, oh, wait a minute, this dude is just he's kind of doing the cleaning up, but at the same time it's like, our system's our system, but I want to see what other stories can we cook up from this series, because I'm curious. And what I really like, again, is Anthology, so you can jump in anywhere. That's why I'm like, well, I'll continue watching it, because you can kind of jump in anywhere. I can go to season 4 right now and just put on an episode and be like, oh, okay, we're good here.
Or if you catch a dud, you're like, well, next week's gonna be completely different, so I might as well stick with it.
Yeah, it's like, well, they can't all be winners, right? But
Right.
you're gonna find some good ones. The next episode, coincidentally, was episode 2 that popped up, and it was Christmas themed, called "And All Through the House." Which, when I saw the name, I was like, huh, that sounds like, oh, it is Christmas themed. And it's one of those episodes again where you're taking the warmth of Christmas and twisting it into something kind of fucked up. You know,
Yeah.
the story follows a woman who murders her husband on Christmas Eve, only to find out that an escaped mental patient dressed as Santa Claus is outside her house. And oh,
With
but
her kid upstairs also. Don't forget
yeah, I
that.
was about to mention, like, yeah, she has a little girl who says, like, hey, I saw Santa Claus, like, it's like, the little kid thing all the time. Like, I want to stay up to see Santa Claus. Like, our daughter every year
Mhm.
trying to stay up to see Santa Claus. Starting to get harder and harder. Like, and the kids around her keep saying, oh, they're fucking with her about it, but she's like, no, I still believe. And I'm like, you keep believing, kid. You
Hey,
keep
good for her.
believing.
Hang on to that as long as you can.
I think, like Sarah, we talked about this on one of the early Off the Mets episodes. Her friend was a guest as well. I think we did a Christmas episode, and I think her friend and I both had mentioned, like, we were older. I think I was 12.
Yeah.
Like, maybe 12, because I remember Christmas of 90, and
Okay.
my grandparents still putting out the milk and the cookies and stuff. And I went with it. I was still kind of in this belief of it.
Yeah.
But I think when I was 13, well, because like I did some not so good things, so those gifts ended up being it's a long story, but basically I knew Santa wasn't a thing because the things under the tree were the things that I stole. So it's like, oh, they just gave me my shit back for Christmas.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember. I couldn't pinpoint when I stopped believing, partly because I'm the oldest of 4. So even if I stopped believing, I kept up pretenses for my younger siblings,
Yeah.
But it was later in life for me, for sure. I think 4th, 5th grade.
I mean, I think I feel like that's a good round like area when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I care, and Sarah kind of pointed out, she was like, well, maybe because your childhood was kind of scarred, so you wanted to hold on to something. I was like, okay, therapist, thanks.
Could be.
I'll write a note and take this back to her and like, look, I'm paying you to give me this kind of fucking information. Where were you? Just kidding, I'm not paying. Like she always seems like, hey, your credit card didn't go through again. See you next month. Anyhow, but yeah, basically, there's a lunatic out there, Santa Claus, and what starts as kind of a cover up quickly turns into a like kind of a siege or survival situation, with the episode balancing slasher style tension, a little bit of dark humor, and poetic justice, if you will. So this episode works because it's simple, it's mean spirited in the best kind of way, and it ends with the kind of nasty payoff that she kind of deserves. I mean, come on, dude, it's Christmas Eve.
She was a shitty person for sure.
363 other days of the year to do this, and you chose like around these 2 days. Come on, son. Like, relax. Like, I was about to say something really fucking horrible when I just realized that's probably in poor taste, so let me chill. I got to do better, because I was an autopilot. We was about to go real bad, but anyhow, we not that, Scott. We not.
Hey, that's growth. That's growth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got therapy on Friday, so I'm actually going to bring that up. It was like, like I could have said something fucked up on the podcast, and I stopped myself. And it's right now, it's taking everything in me not to do it, because it's like, it's here.
Now you want to say, but listen to what I didn't say. Give me credit for that.
Has something to do with John Bonet, but we're not going to. We're not going to.
Oh,
we're gonna. I'm gonna tell Sarah.
Fair. Take it to your safe space.
Yeah, she's a trusted person, right? Um, so anyhow, uh, like for this episode, just kind of how it works, like just kind of given a theme and everything. And again, we're still early on. This is episode 2. You
Yeah.
know, we got the tone set with the executioner in the first episode. Now we've got like a a murder, you know, for money, you know, type deal in your second episode. So it's like so far, it's like it feels like it's keeping with the theme of the comics, because these are the kind of things you would see in those old school kind of comics, not just Tales from the Crypt, but like again, the Witching Hour, and the other types of that nature. I don't know all their names because I wasn't in the 50s. But for you, like again, like kind of going in, if you watch these first 2 episodes, you still in, or now you're like, okay, Christmas shit is a little corny?
Oh yeah, I'm
Or
still in. I mean, I had your list of episodes that we were going to go over, and I just let season 1 roll and was just episode after episode there because, well, they're keeping up with the entertainment level. So the time value for me is there, and it wasn't. Yeah. It's also not a show that I'm gonna put on in the background while I'm working, because then I'm not gonna get any work done.
Yeah, I don't know that I could put this on in the background and think to myself like, oh, I'm gonna have this on, and because I'm gonna want to watch.
Yeah, like I'll throw Deadliest Catch on and get work done with it in the background. I'm not putting this on because I'm gonna get sucked into the story.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is episode 1 and 2, and the next episode they even talk about that's on that list is the third one. Dig That Cat. Mm-hmm. He's real gone. Which, again, your first 2 episodes seem a little out there, and the third one is really out there because the first one it's grounded in reality. It's grounded in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Your second one grounded in the real world. Now this third one, this one gets a little odd because you have Yorick, which is Ralphie from The Sopranos. I can never remember his name. Joe something with the P. Mm-hmm. But he's like a down on his luck kind of guy. I think he was like homeless. And he agrees to take part of an experiment.
At the very least, an alcoholic, yeah.
Because I think I was setting up as I was about to get on the treadmill, and I looked up and I was like, I'm pretty sure he found a guy sleeping in a box maybe or something. But yeah, it was definitely an alcoholic at the very least. But he agrees to take part in an experiment that gives him the ability to die and come back. Basically, the cat has 9 lives. We're going to take this part of the cat's brain and put it into your brain.
Yeah, that was also very interesting right up front to me, where they're like, yeah, I found that it's this gland that is how they can die and come back to life. So we're just going to attach that to your brain. We're going to take that out of the cat and put it on your brain. I was like, not science-based whatsoever. There's no possible way. But it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting way to shuffle that into a story. I'm in for the ride now. We're 2 minutes into the episode. I'm in for the ride now. I want to see where this goes.
In my mind, as I'm watching, I was like, that's kind of silly. Just thinking about it like as a grown up in 2026. Like, yeah, no science involved at all. Fuck all that. Like, science is stupid. Mm-hmm. But it worked. Yeah. So for Yorick, now he has. Well, he doesn't realize that it's 9 lives. He thinks he can just die and keep coming back.
No, he thought it was 9 lives.
He did?
He thought so. He what he didn't account for at the end was the cat died.
In
the transplant. So that, which makes that twist even more poignant.
Yeah.
Because I do remember thinking at one point, wait a minute, didn't the cat, is it really not, is he, I didn't think like, didn't the cat die? But I was like, how does he know that cat didn't die before? How does he so confident he's got 9 lives? How does he not, realize that maybe that cat used up 3 already?
Yeah. Like the way that had computed it. And I probably missed something because I thought he was just because going through all the deaths and everything. It's like, oh, this dude is just fucking spinning these joints. And then when he's sitting there, and then realizes with the cat, and I was like, oh, did he not realize that it's supposed to be 9 lives? But yeah, what you just said made perfect sense. But also too, yeah, the cat could have probably had a wild life. I don't know.
Mhm.
He looked like a partier. He looked like he hung out with Heathcliff.
I mean, yeah,
So
he looked like an alley cat, not somebody's safe
yeah,
pet.
yeah. Because that's your only sure bet is like if you got like I raised this cat for years. He's been fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's like at least he seems to have been fine. You don't know that cat probably fell out the window 6 times. But you never know because he's just walking around, as right as rain. But yeah,
Right.
but basically, instead of treating the second chance, or this not even second chance, but like, yeah, I guess it's a second chance at life, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
as something meaningful, he turns it into a sideshow act and he starts making money off of it. I guess part of the carnival,
Mm-hmm.
like people charge, which this was a wild thing too. It's like, hey, $1,000 you get to kill somebody.
Right.
That's a fucking bananas concept in itself. I was like, yo, folks were just like, yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. And I love the dude's like, what do I get? And they're like, oh, you get the arrow that you shot him with.
I mean, I don't know,
Congratulations.
this sounds like the fucking kind of carnival that takes place in fucking Indiana. This seems very Indiana-ish.
Yeah.
Like, if I had to guess where this carnival is taking place, is Indiana or it's Indiana. There's no other state that this
Alabama.
makes sense in. Yeah, maybe. I don't think is it Alabama? No, Mississippi's the dumb one. Never mind. Maybe Alabama.
I mean,
Like Mississippi, they're not smart enough to calculate all this. They don't have scientists there, so they couldn't make it happen. I checked. We don't have Alabama listeners or Mississippi listeners. They don't have the internet. Fuck them too. But yeah, basically this dude is out here making money off of it. And again, during those wild times of the 80s, they're like, look, man, you give me $1,000, I'll let you kill somebody. That shit still blows my mind. Like, this is what we were in the 80s. Because I was what in 89, I was 11, I guess. I guess I should have been aware, but I wasn't because I was too busy fucking playing with Ninja Turtles and Batman. So I don't fucking know. But yeah, the episode kind of uses a mix of dark humor, body horror, and moral punishment, like showing how greed and desperation can turn a miracle into a curse. It's and you see that, and again when he realizes that shit, it's like, oh fuck, like you should have accounted for that. And I guess I'm wondering too is like, hey, spin up all those lives and then keep that last one at the end with all my money. So
but I mean it led to it brought out the worst in a lot of people, because the girl that was dating him was just killed him, took all his money. Like, I mean, you're gonna come back to life, so it's not like I killed you. So just more moral ambiguity.
And then even him with, like, I guess the carnival owner, or I don't know what they're called.
The Barker or whatever.
Yeah, he's like basically like, look, I want full cut. I want 100%, because like before me, this shit like was trash, and now like this shit is popping now because of me. So it's like that's where the greed comes in. So it's just again one of those episodes that kind of now you've got 3 episodes, you got 3 different, and these are the first 3, all drastically different circumstances, different kind of twist at the end of each one. So it's just like, by the the very least, if you watch episode 1 and 2 and you get to number 3, I think by this point you're dialed in. There's no way you're not watching more of these. But questions I have for you here, because I do have questions, Scott. Let me see. Like, yeah, here we go. This is one. What does it say about fame and desperation?
This specific episode, I mean, it's you can use how many stories of how much can we look at now on social media? People desperate for the attention, desperate for their 15 minutes of fame, desperate to make a quick buck off of somebody else's back or by exploiting other people. And this was what, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
It's the messages that you're seeing then in this show, and I think that's why this is still relevant. And you can say the same thing about Twilight Zone. People don't change, just the way they do things changes. It's not and that's why this is always going to be horror, because it's shining a mirror on the ugly side of people.
I think this is where that Twilight Zone comparison really, really clicks in, because both series kind of did that. It shows you what people really were like underneath. I think Twilight Zone, stuck more in a sci-fi realm, and even though it was, the ending, someone kind of paid at the end in some way, it still kind of left you with like kind of this like, you still feel kind of clean because it was the time. But like when you get to something like Tales from the Crypt, it had consequences for everyone, and at the end you kind of felt dirty, like, damn, but they deserved it. So
right. I mean, just hey, there's no good people is basically what it tells you. Yeah. Or everybody has a side of them that's not great, or that you really don't want to see.
Yeah, I definitely think Tales from Crypt definitely gives you more of that than anything. It's like you said, when you look at the lady that was with them, she seemed like she was his ride or die. And she was like, nah, you getting stabbed up, and she justified it. She was like, it's not like you're really dying,
right?
Which I don't know. That's scarier because if he's not dying, he's just gonna come after you.
But you still robbed him.
Yeah,
which is not okay.
Yeah, like you are a bad person.
Yeah,
right now he's like kind of like I mean, honestly, to some degree, it's like, was he really bad? I mean, he was a bum. He signed up for an experiment.
He was bad.
Well, he was bad. But like
he committed suicide to kill the scientist, so he didn't have to cut the scientist in anymore. He was not good. The greed was there for him too.
Damn it, Scott! I'm trying to give this guy a path. Okay,
he doesn't have one. He's just as shitty as the rest of them.
All right, fine. Fuck it. He's a fucking horrible human. All right, like, nothing he does is right. Nothing he does is good. And
listen, there are some episodes where somebody that doesn't deserve what they got some bad stuff happen to it. Had something bad happen to him. This ain't one of them.
Yeah, I mean, look, Yorick. I tried, homie. Oh well.
Appreciate it. You were a dick in the Matrix too, though, so you probably deserve this.
Actually, he played a villain in almost everything that I've seen.
Pretty much everything, yeah.
So yeah, kind of a dick. You deserve it.
Probably one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet in real life. But
so that's what there was some show he was on recently, and he was playing himself, and that was kind of the thing. It was like it was Wonder Man, and it was playing to that point of like he's actually a really nice guy. So we're just going to move to the next one. I actually want to jump to season 2, episode 10, The Ventriloquist Dummy. I can't ever say stuff like that, like with the plural, or it's not even a plural, but the possessive s. I can never.
When you're
ventriloquist.
Yeah, when there's that many s's towards the end, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I was good at English. I just didn't do the homework because it was fucking dumb.
That was me in math.
Yeah, I know I'm not good at math. Like I just fuck those numbers. So anyhow, like for the ventriloquist dummy, this is season 2, episode 10, and this episode kind of follows so it starts off with the ventriloquist, and then there's an aspiring a kid who a big fan. He comes up, gets autographed. Mom's like, nah, fuck off. You're going to be a doctor. He's like, I want to be a ventriloquist too. So you already see, all right, might see where this might be going. I didn't actually. I thought I saw, but But basically, there's an aspiring ventriloquist who becomes obsessed with the main ventriloquist. Fuck that word, dude. That's a stupid word. They couldn't have thought of another word. I can't fucking say that word, man. Puppet master.
Yeah,
I want to go with
puppeteer.
puppet master.
Yeah.
Oh, even better, puppeteer. I can say that. There's no S's in that. But basically, this kid becomes obsessed with them, and the fucking whole act, and then he discovers as he grows up, like, you know, the kid himself wants, you know, follows his dream to become a puppeteer, and he meets up with, you know, homeboy, because he was like, hey man, if you ever need any pointers, you can always look me up, and he followed through. He did.
Yeah. 15 years later.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, remember me 15 years ago? And he was like, come see my act, which his act was kind of trash.
It was. And I'm sorry. Ain't no way Bobcat Goldthwait was 25.
Yeah, well, dude, those days though, right?
That's true. Hard life. Hard life.
I mean, what was it? Was it Richie Valens when they showed the old picture of him before he got on the plane that took his life? It was like he was 17. It was like that man looked like he has 6 kids and a grandkid on the way.
That's fair.
Like, you know, it was like just those times, and this was the 80s at this point. So like, you know, you figure about this time, things have gotten better. So, oh God, like, yeah, it was rough times. But yeah, basically, when he meets up with the puppeteer, he comes and sees the show. He's like, look, man, your shit is trash. Well, he didn't say it like that. Like, even Bobcat was like, it wasn't good. It was terrible, wasn't it?
He did try to be nice.
Yeah, he tried. And it was like, yeah, it was terrible. but he still wasn't like, he wasn't bad about it though. Like,
no, he wasn't.
Tried.
He wasn't. He didn't want to be a terrible person.
No, it just turns out that he had a Siamese twin hand, I guess.
Yeah, there's a thing where, like, I don't remember what it's called, but like one twin will consume the other twin in the womb.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but I've been hearing more about it in recent years because I guess like Malignant was one of them, and then I think Professor X's twin, Cassandra Nova, some weird shit. All like, yeah. I was about to say something horrible again, but let me chill. let me fucking chill, son, because this one was like, ooh, underhand pitch. But basically, he wanted to be a good dude. He was a good dude for the most part. But yeah, he had, I guess, a growth. I guess, you know, on his hand, which was his brother. I mean, it would be his brother,
his twin brother. Yeah, that hated women because he could never be with one.
That's wild. It sounds like a lot of folks today.
I'm
not holding back.
And they flat out said it. Like that's what he said in the episode. I was like, man, that's fucked up.
Yeah. He's Nick Fuentes. Like so like I guess the puppeteer, the original puppeteer, ended up killing someone, but it wasn't him. It was the hand controlling him, and then Bobcat, you know, goes to him and was like, yo man, you killed that woman. And that's when you get the discovery that, hey, you know, this is the whole thing. And then violence ensues. He cut the hand off. Bobcat goes to put it in a blender or something, I think, or meat grinder.
Meat grinder, yeah. Making an asshole pie or whatever he said.
He says something, but it rhymed. Asshole casserole.
Asshole casserole, yeah.
I was like, oh.
I just remember laughing so hard that I didn't hear what happened for a minute, and I had to rewind it.
Yeah, I was like, whatever he said, that shit rhymed. But yeah, he was like, you know, the growth, the hand or whatever, was like, you know, come on, man, I'll do anything. Because this is basically how the original puppeteer was so good, is he wasn't really doing the talking. It was the fucking hand inside the puppet. So it was like, oh shit, that all makes sense. But basically, to save his own life, you know, Bobcat, he agreed to like do the show with Bobcat now, you know, the kid who grew up to become the puppeteer. And then that kind of all goes south because they get on stage and, you know, the hands start talking shit to the girls, and it's like it just became this thing. And
yeah,
I can't remember what happened at the end.
he like somehow like grew onto Bobcat's hand.
Yeah, okay. I
Which
remember.
I was like, that don't make no sense. But also, that is wild practical effects that you guys just did there.
Man, with this show, science goes out the window. Like,
yeah, but he just somehow was like, I'm your hand now.
Yeah, because I saw that, and that's where I was kind of like, I think at that point I was finishing my run on the treadmill, so I stepped down. So I definitely looked away, but I remember hearing him say something to that effect. I was like, yeah, like that sounds fucking weird. All right, like moving on. I got to go lift weights now. And I didn't see the ending of that one, but I saw the Crypt Keeper, like his portion, but I was like, oh, back to this guy. Speaking of puppets and dummies, you know, and that's how I connected that episode ending. But like for this episode, because this one had body horror.
Yeah.
And the previous ones that we mentioned didn't. Well, I mean, the one with the 9 lives, it wasn't so much body horror.
I mean, he had a scar from every one of his deaths, but I wouldn't say that was body horror.
Yeah, this one was like straight up cutting off a limb,
right?
Like, and then putting it into a meat grinder. It was pretty gruesome. Like more gruesome than any of the other ones.
And the hand puppet was gnarly looking.
Yeah,
running around on like 2 fingers on each arm, all weird. That's
fucking ugh.
Reminded me of The Thing for some reason.
Yeah,
from being honest.
Yeah, there was The Thing, but then also Jason Goes to Hell. The thing, that thing that was just like after they killed Jason,
weird demon worm thingy.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that was. I think we'll watch that too. I gotta go back and watch that just for funsies. But is this one of like when it comes to like the body horror and the gore, out of the ones obviously that we've seen, it is more disturbing. Like I don't know about any others that might have matched the grossness of this one. Maybe.
Yeah, like the thing was just uncomfortable to look at and it's 5 minutes of the episode at the most. But it was very uncomfortable. And it was talking shit the whole time.
I think that's what kind of made me uncomfortable. It was like, yo, you gonna let that thing talk shit? Yo, come on, man. Like that's why whenever I see I say this, but I don't know because I've never been encountered by Chucky. But I'm like, yo, I would punt that motherfucker.
Oh yeah, I'm kicking the shit out of that doll.
Like every time somebody dies in a fucking Child's Play movie, I'm like, yo, you earned that death. Mm-hmm. Like I'm kicking that little motherfucker. You're gonna have to sneak me. Like you just you're gonna have to get me in my sleep.
Aside from the part where he pulled his hand off and shoved a knife on his hand, all right, you might cut me a little bit with that knife, but that was still a small knife.
I'm still kicking you. I mean, I'm gonna kick you. I'm gonna get a slash on my calf. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, but you're still catching a steel toe to the jaw and going flying.
You're going through the uprights, and we're getting our 3. That's the game winner. So let's see here. All right, we'll go with this one for the last one. We've been on for a minute. I'm gonna do a television terror, and then want to ask you about like memorable episodes for you as well. But television terror is like kind of plays into the trope of like ghost, like not necessarily ghost hunters, but like TV journalists sensationalizing haunted houses and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the episode. It was fine. It was memorable, but the thing that stood out most to me in the episode was like when all the ghost stuff starts happening at the end. The cameraman's reactions.
Oh yeah, they were great.
Dude, I hope he got paid well.
That dude acted his ass off.
He knew he was given an assignment and he fucking took it to its fullest. He was like, I'm getting all this money. I'm gonna let y'all know I was the right dude. And if y'all need me again, I'll double it up. I'll do better next time. But basically the story follows a television journalist who enters a supposedly haunted house for a live broadcast, and they reference the Al Capone vault So this was kind of coming off that Geraldo Rivera whole thing. Like I think that was like 86, maybe 85 or 86. But so like, they're kind of playing off of that. But he's basically doing a live broadcast, hoping to turn the ratings around and use fear and tragedy for that. So one of the things that makes the episode works is how it turns this dude's arrogance against him. Like he doesn't like give much respect when he's entering the house. He doesn't like take caution. There's no curiosity. He just sees it as, content, which is what we see these days with a lot of fucking people. Just everything is content. It's like, it's not even about like, take care of things. It's just like content is content. And, once the haunting begins, like, the episode becomes less about proving whether ghosts exist and more about, watching someone who exploits horror, finally kind of get trapped inside of all this, nonsense. So, there are a few episodes here, obviously, that kind of still rings to what happens with today. I mean, again, content is content, and then you have the greed. I mean, all of it kind of still resonates with today.
Yeah.
So,
plus that guy, he was just a dick to everybody.
Yeah.
And so, like, his crew could have pulled him out, but he was a dick, and they're like, I mean, we're getting ratings, and this guy's a dick. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, like the one chick, she was just like, she was smiling. She was like, "Oh yeah, good. Fuck that guy. He deserves it." Right. And then when it turns out it was there, I was like,
like
we made a mistake.
But she even looked like, do I feel that bad about what happened? Do I feel that bad
like
about this?
She didn't look like she was going to lose sleep, but she knew. She was like, we probably could have pulled him out earlier.
Yeah. Oh well, I guess that's the end of the show.
Yeah, it's like, all right,
better look for a new job. Yeah.
But yeah, like when you look at something like this is one of those things that I feel like was ahead of its time, or kind of matches what our today times are. I don't even want to say it's ahead of its time. Well, I guess it was, because like television was still, it was a broader thing now, so it's still kind of new to a lot of folks.
What season was this one in?
2.
Oh, okay. So this was still 2. So it was what, 90?
90.
But I mean, look how soon after that we ended up with Ricky Lake, Sally Jesse Raphael.
Yeah. Well, those things
Jerry
were
Springer
kind of like on the like cusp, because I always say that Jerry Springer kind of spawned off of that Geraldo Rivera episode where the fight broke out.
Yeah.
And then
100%.
From that point, it was like, oh, this gets ratings. So this goes with that same trope.
Or Maury Povich, who was a journalist and then was just a glorified paternity test host, because that's what gets ratings and that's what gets money. It's just, you sell out, basically.
Yeah. It's like whatever keeps, like I go through that now with social media. It was like, hey, this posted well, make more like it. Nah.
Yeah.
I just post the stuff I like. Like, I'm not trying to, like, I think on BJJ Wiki, I make a little bit of money, not a lot. Like, I was making a good amount where, like, I bought a lot of podcast equipment. Now I make enough where I can probably buy a new microphone each month. So, I mean, it's not hateful. When I say microphone, I mean like $15. We're not talking about like real microphones.
Right.
Like I make like 15 a month from like Facebook or Instagram. So it's like, which is 15 more than what I was
15
making.
more than I'm making on Instagram.
I don't think So You Like Horror makes anything. I think I got like a little invoice or whatever, not invoice, but I got a little thing and said, hey, you made, I think 17 cents.
Oh, well, I'll start working. I'll start working on upping that engagement for you. See what we can do.
Well, I appreciate
get you to $1.
Thank you. Yeah.
I have been slacking. I have been slacking lately.
Dude, I've been slacking. I looked at my DMs today. I was like, oh my God, I got to start answering people again. What the fuck am I doing? Like, it's overwhelming.
I mean, you're doing a lot.
Yeah, I think at this point, it's just, I got to kind of compartmentalize everything again. It started getting out of control. So now I need to compartmentalize my days on when I go to what accounts. But yeah, with this episode, it is ahead of its time in that sense of like, what we are doing now when it comes to content. Anyone would do anything for content. Then you think about those ghost hunter shows too. This kind of is
Yeah.
what I was getting from that.
Yeah, good old Zach Bagans.
Like who, like the guy on the, I can't remember, and I might not even know who he was, but he looks like there are tons of famous people on the show on Tales from the Crypt that is like I just don't know who they are now. I knew who they were then, but it's like I don't know their names now. But like that dude, specifically the host for the show, I was like, oh, I recognize that dude. I just can't think of his name right now. But I didn't feel like looking it up either.
From this episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I know that dude. He plays an asshole in just about everything he's in too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I want to punch him.
Yeah.
And he knows it.
He's got a punchable face.
Yeah. Like, but I've been told we're not allowed to punch people. So
no, they frown on that these days.
Fuck them. So for you, like besides the few episodes we just went on over here, were there any episodes that stood out to you specifically that like watching back before or even just kind of going through them again now?
Yeah, so one that for some reason has always stuck in my head was from season 3. I think it was episode 11. I said I'd have to go back and look at text messages, and we're already going long, so I'm not going to do that. But I think it was episode 11. It's called Split Second. It's about a logging camp. The owner of the logging camp buys. I mean, he essentially buys her, but he marries this waitress in a, from one of the bars near the logging camp. She is bored after being married to this guy for like 4 days. A new guy comes in and like super good at hand chopping, like with an axe, chopping logs, super quick. Young guy. Wife tries to seduce him. Husband, owner of the mining camp, beats this dude with an axe, makes him blind. Logging camp work. This guy is also being an asshole to all the workers. So the logging camp guys take the owner and the wife, put them inside a log, and teach this dude how to use a long chainsaw on logs that they're in, and cuts them up. And there are parts of that. I'm saying parts because when I went back and rewatched it, I completely forgot that there's just straight up nudity in the episode, and that a lot of the episode in my brain, a lot of the episode was focused on the new guy being in the logging camp, building a relationship with all the other loggers, showing that he was really good at this competition chopping. In reality, that was maybe 2 minutes of the episode. But it always stuck in my head, probably because I saw it when I was like 11 or 12, and they cut the dude up with a chainsaw. And it just stuck in my head for that. So that one is one that always just stuck out to me for like no deeper meaning to it, just the action in it stuck in my brain apparently. Go ahead.
Well, I think that's the thing though too, like you mentioned the age that you watch it, so it's like the things that we understand and process at the time, like the comprehensible things. So it's like, oh shit, They cut this dude up.
Right.
It's like, that's the only thing that matters.
Mm-hmm. Like watching it now, if I had never watched it before and I watched it now, it would have been another episode that was like, all right, that was cool. Probably not one of my favorites, but
even like hearing, just on the premise of the episode, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, there's a lot to unpack there in terms of like themes, obviously, because I'm always looking for themes,
right?
Like jealousy, competition, stuff like that. So it's like, oh shit, I get, so I feel like it is one of those episodes that it stands out for a reason.
Yeah. But it doesn't, I will say it does not stand out for its acting.
Oh, well, like
this is not one of the stronger acting, right? Not one of the stronger acted episodes, but there's still people in there where you're like, I know that dude's face. Oh, I recognize that guy's face too. Pretty sure I recognize the girl from something. And if you looked it up and told me her name, I'd be like, oh, I'm an idiot for not recognizing that that's who that was. But But yeah, it wasn't a bad episode. One of the other ones that really sticks out to me a lot is actually one that I had forgotten about but rewatched because it was on the list. It was Yellow, the World War One episode.
Mm-hmm.
One, because it's young Michael Douglas. I forgot how much he looked just like his dad.
Yeah.
But two, like the performances from both Douglases, from Dan Aykroyd, who was also in it, from the dude that was in the show Millennium that I couldn't tell you his name, which underrated sci-fi show. Can't find it anywhere. That makes me sad.
Of course not.
The performances from all of them were great. Everything about that episode was fantastic. Cinematography, writing, twist, all of it was so well done that it's just like that is you take that, and it's so outside of any of the other Tales from the Crypt episodes because it's so subtle.
Yeah. Also, it's like when you're doing like war drama too. That's one of those things that kind of it I don't know why, for me at least, it stands out. It's like when I was on the treadmill trying to go through the episodes, I love Shudder, but Shudder is hard to navigate at times.
Yes.
Like at least like the like response time at least. So I was actually trying to get to that episode because I was like, all right, I've got a little bit more time. I can get to that episode, and I couldn't, so I just went with the television terror, and so I was like, fuck it, we'll just do that one. But Yellow was one that was like, I want to watch that one because like that seems like it's gonna like speak volumes, especially for its time. But
yeah, I mean, do watch it. It's worth a watch, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, just because we're done with the episode doesn't mean we're done watching.
Oh no, I will be watching a whole bunch of Tales from the Crypt after we get done. I'll probably put it on tonight after we get off.
Yeah, same. I know Sarah, she worked last night, so I know she's tired. So
I probably should have, so to speak,
upstairs. What's that?
I probably should have, so to speak, that last sentence.
Well, I don't have the sound bar here where I can like, hey yo. But yeah, like Sarah, like once I go upstairs, I'm just like, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and put on Tales from the Crypt and read some comic books because
there you go.
That's what the fuck I do. So as we're wrapping up here, just some of the themes that we go over, which we mentioned already: greed, consequences, sex, violence, and one of the things too is freedom. HBO's freedom, specifically because they're able to put like such graphic content together. Dark comedy being another one of the things, and moral rot, I think, is one that transcends through all of the episodes. It's just one of those shows that when you watch it in its regular time, it's like it's just a show, but like as you like really sit down and break it down, there's so much more from it. Things to kind of take into account as well. Like we mentioned, several celebrities being in the series. I think a lot of have to do with it being on HBO and not on network TV. Because if you're on network TV, nobody wants to, do the show. But if you're on HBO, that's high class. So and they're probably getting paid a little bit more. So
yeah, I would think so.
And honestly, I think it doesn't hurt that Robert Zemeckis and Joel Silver, you had like Hollywood producers attached.
Oh yeah, I mean that you could get in there and that's your into maybe a full budget motion picture, like a blockbuster after that.
Yeah. So there's a lot to kind of take from all this, and as we talk about like last week's episode, we did Demon Knight. There were spin-offs, specifically motion pictures. We had Demon Knight and Bordello of Blood. Demon Knight being the one that everyone remembers. Well, I want to say everyone, but like if you mentioned Tales from the Crypt movie, Demon Knight's the first one that comes up. They did have the other one, Bordello of Blood, that had Dennis Miller, Corey Feldman, Angie Everhart. I don't think we're allowed to say midget anymore, but I just did. But the one little person, what are they, dwarves now? I don't know what they are. But
vertically challenged.
What's that?
Vertically challenged. That's probably not acceptable.
I would accept it, but I don't think that I'm allowed to accept anything for them because
no, that's fair. I don't know. I don't know what's okay anymore.
Nor do I. That's why I'm just gonna stick with midget.
This is how I know I'm old. I don't know what's acceptable.
It's like I don't want to stop trying, but I'm also like, look, I can't keep up.
Yeah, but I'm also not old enough for anyone to let it slide because he's old.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like, there's going to be a certain point where they're just like, just let it go.
The filter is off.
But yeah, basically, as you know, the show gained popularity. They did drop 2 movies. They had the animated series, as we mentioned earlier, as well, and I believe they did come out with some more comic books following that. So, I mean, Tales from the Crypt, you know, it kind of it sticks with us. It stuck with us, and you had messaged me and said that it was trending. You know, because
if you open up Amazon Prime and you've got Shudder, I mean, you might not even need Shudder, but it was trending. It says trending on every single episode. I was like, oh, cool.
I mean, and I think like it just AMC Plus / Shudder had just gotten the rights back last month.
Yeah,
so it was kind of like I think people just caught on to it. So it's like, oh shit, like we can watch this now, because there's a lot of shows that aren't streaming anywhere. Like you mentioned earlier with Millennium. Like, you know, you have a lot of cool shows that aren't streaming anywhere for various reasons. There was something I saw on YouTube talking about a lot of it has to do with music and distribution rights. So if they like hum the song on an episode, you can't put it on there.
Yeah,
because you have to get the rights to the song, which is fucking goofy, but whatever. Go fuck yourselves, YouTube. Am I on YouTube? I don't think I have anything. I think Off the Mats is on there, but I don't think this is on there. So fuck off, YouTube. Oh no, it is. Fuck. My bad. I'm sorry. I was just playing. Y'all know I'm out. Yeah, I just be saying things.
147 in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
cut that out.
I might. We'll see. But one question before we get out of here: would a reboot for Tales from the Crypt, would that work? And if so, you got to keep the Crypt Keeper, or would they try to update to something new, CGI even?
Don't do that. You fail if you do that. I think you could do it today. I think Tales from the Crypt holds up, and I think there's enough new out there now that you can write in the same style with new, fresh ideas. You have to keep the Crypt Keeper. You can't bring in new. It can't be Tales from the Crypt without the Crypt Keeper. It's got to be practical, and I think you got to get you've got to get a voice actor that's not well known that can make it his similar but his own character.
Yeah. I think if you bring in like a named individual, people are just going to be thinking about that person. Like, how did they do? How did that person do? You know, whereas like if it's someone that's not super known, but they can get close enough to it, all we're hearing is a Crypt Keeper, and that's all we're thinking about. We're not thinking about who's behind it. So I agree. I'm with you. Like, and then now, to be honest, I don't want them to reboot it because I'm tired of them rebooting everything. But if they did, I think they can get away with it.
My hope would be they do a different type of anthology where you can kind of pay homage to the Crypt Keeper, but let's come up with something original.
Yeah,
let's not be lazy.
Yeah, I mean, and there's enough talent in the horror pool right now where I think they could do that. There's so much good YouTube shorts, YouTube horror content. I mean, a lot. I mean, what Obsession and Backrooms, fucking killing it right now. Mm-hmm. So there's talent out there.
I mean,
coming out of YouTube.
If I'm bored, I'll go on YouTube and look, best horror movie shorts or best sci-fi shorts, and there are amazing. There's a YouTube short that's maybe a minute and a half called The Smiling Man that I'll go back to and watch every once in a while, and it's creepy as fuck, and there's not a word said. I don't know if you've seen that one or not.
Mm-hmm.
The way that dude's fingers slowly come around the corner, one finger at a time.
Yep. Like on my, so I do have a So You Like Horror YouTube. Yeah. I don't go on it too often. I'm looking through just because I'm always looking at jujitsu stuff. But when I do, like I'll go in there and it's like it's just feeding me YouTube horror like shorts, and I'm like, oh, this is great and it'll just keep playing. It's like I don't have to fuck with nothing. So
exactly.
So yeah, they can go ahead and if they reboot it, get some of those young folks off YouTube, make it happen, like and make it fun, make it original, make it your own. So y'all heard me. I know they're out there listening right now over there at Shudder. They're like, we should do it. So yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. Scott, thank you as always for sharing your time and doing this. I always appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. It's my pleasure. As long as people still listen to my dumb voice, I'll come on here and chop it up with you.
Hey, actually, the Midnight Mass episode is the top one for the year right now. So, hey, people, it clicked with people. They're like, all right, cool. We're gonna check it out. So, hey, people want to hear you, Scott. So keep it up. And Scott will be back for Exorcism of Emily Rose. I think we have one more. I have to look at the list. I think we definitely have that. I thought there was one more.
We talked about the Cube series, if you can fit it in.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. The Cube. Actually, the Cube, that was supposed to be the original plan was for us to do back to back. This was the Cube and then this. So but Cube is still on the list for the year. I know, like once we get around October, that's where I do like an episode every week. So
right,
it's probably be then because it's like, hey, I need all the episodes we can get. But thank you for doing this, and then as usual to you guys, the listeners, thank you. We appreciate the fuck out of you. Y'all got any questions or concerns, criticisms? Please feel free to reach out. You can find me at So You Like Horror on Instagram. All the words separated by underscores, or for the podcast. I mean, that's everywhere now because I changed our podcast host. So yeah, we're everywhere now again. Like when I was with those other guys, they only had me like on 4 platforms. That shit was trash. Now we everywhere. So go listen to it. But you hear it right now, so I know you're listening. So thanks, guys. And you guys know what it is. You all keep listening, and we're gonna definitely keep making these shows. Thanks, everybody. I was supposed to have a different exit, but whatever. Bye.
I think that's good for now.
The end.